And live. All right, what's up, everybody? Facebook Live, 4 o'clock, MasterSpas, Ben and Mary. Can we get a sound check, please? Mary, you tired back there?
No, I'm trying to give myself some color because I look like death in those other videos.
Okay, the camera's on, just so you know.
I know.
She's rubbing her. Summer, what's up? All right. RJ, Summer, 2 people. Can you guys hear us okay? Sound is good. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Jeff, what's going on? We'll give a few minutes here and let people pop on. All right. Everything is cool. It's really cold out.
And
speaking of
what
cold.
Fitting topic
Mama!
Today.
I don't need this cold. I don't need it. I don't need it. I'm over it.
It makes me miserable.
Yeah. Mary's going to Florida on Friday.
Just to get a little bit
Just
of
to get away from the cold weather for a week. That's cool. All right, we'll give a few more minutes. Let everybody hop on. So when you guys, when you watch, if you're watching this later on or now, just let us know where you're watching from. We always love to see that. That's the fun part. Well, it's one of the fun parts. All right, very cool. All right, we'll give another second. What's going on? What's new with everybody? What are we talking about today, Mary?
cold.
Cold. Ironic. My mom just in the Therapool. Awesome. Very, very cool. Mom, remind me to tell you later we have a special project for your swim spa coming up, and we're doing some fun stuff with it. Summer is watching from down the street. Summer, for those of you who don't know, is my daughter, and her new apartment is literally like a mile from here, maybe. I mean, if it's more than a mile, it's 6 feet more than a mile. Alexandria, Virginia, that's cool. Awesome. All right, we've got 5 people on there. We'll give another second. Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, it's a weird week too. Like
it is a weird week.
Here, a lot of people had a couple days off, or they had a full week off for school with President's Day and winter break. So we've had really weird weather here. With
it's been a strange week.
It has been a strange week.
I agree.
And it's cold, and it's not fun in terms of that.
And we're working on special projects all week. Really fun and different stuff. Some of it we can talk about, like cold tub stuff. Victoria, BC, Canada. I know it's chilly there.
Yeah, I mean, there's places right in northern U.S. that are below 0.
Oh, yeah. And we don't get that, like in Connecticut, we don't get that, a lot of that really, really cold, that sub-zero stuff. But it was... this week, high single digits, low teens, 11, 13 degrees, something like that, which is pretty cold. Gordy from Kona, I know how your weather is.
Ugh.
All right. Also, Gordy, my daughter's on here, and she was the biggest fan of your coffee with the pour over. Awesome. Pennsylvania, Blue Ridge, Georgia. Very cool. Pennsylvania. Mildest weather in Canada. Victoria, BC, mildest weather in Canada. Let's see. All right, let's start. Mary, you want to start?
Yeah, so one of the things that we're going to talk about is basically how miserable it is to be cold. And it just brings with it more aches and pains than normal. And I feel part of it, for me anyway, is because I'm always cold, I feel like everything tenses up. And that is never good for muscles and joints feeling nice and warm and movie and flowy.
Right.
So sitting right now in this swim spa that's over 100 degrees right now.
Feels amazing.
It feels really good.
Yeah, this swim spa is currently like 102 degrees.
And I
102.
I just think about I'm going to Florida because my parents are down there and spent a few days with them. And my mom especially has a lot of, like, she's got a lot of back pain, leg pain, and being in the warmer weather makes a huge difference
for sure.
for her pain. Besides the fact that being in warmer weather just allows them to move around more, get out more, be, more social and all of that, which are all good things. But definitely the cold makes a big difference in terms of pain level and...
Well, I mean, if you go, allow me.
Yeah.
So on the cold stuff, as far as bodies are concerned, your muscles, ligaments, tendons are most pliable in a gym setting when the gym is 72 degrees. So you want that warmer and even more from there when it goes up. But south of there, you're actually less pliable. So it was always well known within the gym industry, which, as you guys know, is where I came from, that if it was too cold in there, people had to warm up for a long time before they get going. And looking, Mary and I are now, CrossFitters can't talk about anything but without talking about CrossFit for a second. But the gym is freezing in the morning, and we're like, sort of wimpy these days when it comes to temperature stuff.
I've always been.
I haven't been. I'm getting wimpy. So we spend, a good 10 or 15 minutes doing a very active warm-up to warm up those muscles properly. It's the same thing. If you were starting off warm, you're already starting off better. So you have to be cautious in the cold if you're exercising. Now, when you're in a swim spa, you're warming. You get warm immediately. So it's just a whole different thing. Kathy said, are you going to demonstrate the swim spa? We actually, what you can't see behind here, the cover is actually not off, so we will not be swimming today.
We can show some.
We can definitely show some other things. So, and we can certainly, talk about best practices and best things to do. But when you're starting off, so right now, I wouldn't necessarily recommend exercising extremely strenuously or strenuously at all in 102 degrees. We set this for us so that we could, relax, and I wanted to feel great. So now, Mary, not as much as I do, but we cold tub and hot tub, obviously. And right now, you also can't see this. There's a cold tub right there. There's two. And then we normally have a hot tub a little further over there. That's gone. So we're switching out, to newer model stuff. And all that stuff is changing. This swim spa will be swapped out pretty soon as well. So we'll have all new stuff in here. So that's sort of going on right now. So we took the swim spa, turned it up to hot tub temperature, so that we could get both out of there. Mary's parents are in Florida, and they're the ones who exercise the most actively in here, so we wouldn't want them exercising, especially indoors at 101, 102 degrees. We did this completely selfishly for us, and it is wonderful. So there's a lot, that was like a word salad of craziness, but it's all facts. All right, so let's see. Awesome. Tracy, joining you from Gresham, Oregon, and my swim spa hot tub combo 94 and 102. Oh, nice. Yeah. Awesome. All right. Paul, what's up, dude? All right. Very good. So basically, when it comes to exercise in the cold, you need to warm up properly always. And that's even if you're not even doing something crazy. You want to warm those muscles, tendons, and ligaments up as much as you possibly can. That's where you're going to be the best benefit. So what I would do if I was doing, let's say, a stretching routine or a cardio routine or swimming or any of that stuff, I would probably turn this down to 92-ish in the wintertime, just because I like the warmer temperature, and you can push that higher than that. That's a pretty conservative number. Kenny, let's see who can hold their breath the longest underwater. You win. I'm not even going to try. I'm unwilling to even try, just because I don't feel like it. If you had done the workout and everything we did today, I think you'd be like, I just want to sit here and do nothing. They beat us to death today, so I'm not going to do that. You are welcome to, Kenny. Let me know what your score is. All right, your time. All right, Paul's in Ontario, California, where the weather is almost always good. Deb from Nebraska, 5 degrees. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's real. That's cold. Teresa Cuticelli, we are watching. Welcome. welcome from your warm temperatures.
Yeah.
All right, awesome, everybody. So very cool. So in the swim spa, you have the ability to get that exercise done and warm up. So you can come in here and start stretching out. So most of the time when you go to a facility that has aquatic rehab, aquatic therapy, aquatic exercise, that water temperature is going to be at that 91 to 93 degrees, because that is the temperature of the surface of your skin. That's where your tendons are most, pliable and bendy. So think of it as a sponge. When the sponge is dry and cold, it doesn't want to move, but when the sponge is warm and filled with water, it really nice and pliable. So think of it like that, okay? That also goes for hydration, is the same thing, the same analogy with the sponge. You want to make sure that you're properly hydrated and all that. All right, Kenny said, I meant between you two. Mary wins, I'm out. How's that? I'm not feeling aggressive or competitive right now. we got the crap kicked out of us today, and then we were no, forget it. Kenny, actually, you would enjoy this. We are working on a test auto feed system for a cold tub, and testing it here, which is pretty neat. So a computerized auto feed system for a cold tub specific to cold water to take care of the chemicals for you. That's what we're testing right now. Pretty awesome. Chad! Awesome, buddy. So we're in the swim spot. I know now Chad lives in Connecticut, and he was at the gym with us today, so he is beat up for sure, although he's tougher than we are. So he's probably doing okay.
But he's got his swim spot nice and warm.
It's 100. Yeah, I think he said it was 100, right?
Nice.
Yeah. So he's just in there, just soaking and stretching and relaxing, and it works so well for that. So, and a hot tub will also work well for that. So whether you have a hot tub or a swim spa, warming up those muscles and stretching and staying flexible. No one puts in the amount of time into stretching that they should. All parties included here, both of us. No one does the stretching that they should. It's the least glamorous side of fitness, but it's so important, especially if you're training at a high rate. You have to stay flexible, and it prevents so much injury. So,
and then if you have a hot tub or a swim spa, you have these amazing jets, which if we turn them on, it'll be a little bit loud for the live, but the jets are going to move blood to your muscles, and they're going to massage your muscles, which is also going to help with blood flow. So not only do you have the warm water, but when you add the massage to it, it's really going to help with muscle aches, joint pain, just make you feel much better. So in the wintertime, when you're feeling, kind of creaky, then the hot tub or the swim spa, keeping it a little bit at the warmer temperature, is definitely the way to go.
Beauty. It's beautiful. Feels really good. Soak those bodies, stretch those joints, stretch everything, stretch those muscles. So what would you say the most important stretches are?
Well, I was going to say one exercise that's really important, and I think my dad speaks to this all the time. Even though he's not working out in the swim spa, they have a pool in there where they're staying, and he still does the step downs in the pool. He doesn't love doing them, but he has noticed many times where he's been like, it's because of the step downs that I didn't fall when I tripped over something. I feel a lot more stability. And he comments often that he feels like that exercise is really significant for balance and lower body strength.
I agree.
Even coordination. So we can kind of demonstrate that really quickly. It is, if you have a swim spa, you would stand on the bottom step. This is a Challenger 15. So
that step is significant.
Yeah, for us, the step has the little MasterSpas insignia on it, or logo. And so you can start with both feet flat on that step, and then you're going to keep one foot as flat as possible, and you're going to drop your other heel down to the floor of the swim spa, and then stand back up. And you can do, at least 10 per leg. And you know, you can kind of balance yourself here, but you want to try to get that bottom heel. Right now, I have my left foot staying on the step and my right foot staying on the step, my left foot dropping down to the floor of the swim spa and then lifting back up. And then I would just switch legs and do the same thing, dropping the right foot to the bottom.
So, Nakia, forgive me if I butchered your name. I didn't mean to. Mary is doing the step down. That's the step down right there. Amazing for knee stability, amazing for knee strengthening, rehabbing, just amazing, you know, quad strength, hamstring strength, everything, connective tissues. Just if there was one quick exercise you could do that would give you huge benefits, that's it. I will go further talking about Joe, Mary's father. How old is your father now?
85.
Okay, so he's 85, and it's so, he doesn't look it, he doesn't act, he certainly doesn't act it, and he doesn't move like it at all. So you would never know that unless he told you. I've seen him trip, and it's not like, you know, if an 85-year-old trips, you gasp, you hold your breath. He just takes a couple of quick steps and then walks away and goes, "Oh my God, I almost fell on my butt," and he's sort of laughing about it. It's not what you normally see, and that is because his joints are strong, his muscles are strong, his major muscle groups are strong. So it's so critical for longevity. It's so critical for quality of life, and it's just amazing to get to watch, you know, all of our parents do this stuff, and they're so fit and so that nothing slows them down. I will tell you this: my mother, Gary, Joe, Terry, they are far busier, you know, socially than we are by far. It is hilarious to talk about, and it's because of that. And all of them are just kicking total ass in the swim spas, and it's awesome. So I mean,
it's been,
really
I feel
works.
like I can speak for Ben's mom too, but it's been a game changer.
Oh yeah.
For their activity level, for, you know, their exercise, just for their overall health in general. I mean, they're in a better mood because they can move more.
Oh yeah.
It's just such a gift to be able to, you know, work out in them.
Okay, we got a couple of comments.
Okay.
Okay.
And we could do some stretches too.
Nakia, did I say your name right? Because I know I've seen you on here before, and you're going to be hanging around here for a long time, so we need to know your name properly. Nakia, I think that's what it is. So, do all Challenger models have that step? Most, if not all, swim spas have a step of some kind there. The difference is some of the height is different on the different models. The 15-footer is it's like, I know that doesn't give any reference in the camera, but it's a big step. You know, so it's significant. You may need to hold on to the side rail, and that would be normal because it's a deep step.
On, you know, or even to, my arms aren't very long, but the top step, you can hold on to.
Absolutely.
To give you some balance.
All right. So Kenny said, I learned the hard way about calf stretching as we get older.
Oh, yeah.
So Kenny, in addition to that, what we also lose as we age is on the hydration side. So not only are our muscles, ligaments, and tendons getting stiffer, getting worse, deteriorating, but at the same time, we lose our margin for error as far as hydration goes. When you're, young and juicy, you can get away with murder. Think of it that way, back to the sponge. And then as we get older, we have a smaller margin of error. So that is very, very important. Proper hydration, and that means proper electrolytes, not just water. You need to take, your magnesium. You need to get your salt in, the proper salt and magnesium, potassium. You need to get all that stuff in, okay? So, and stretching is huge. All right.
One thing that gets really tight in a lot of people is low back, hips, and the swim spa or a hot tub for this one is a great place to do some hip stretches. You can sit in any seat where you feel comfortable, but and Ben's been doing this stretch a lot because he's been having some tightness in his hips and low back.
And knee. It's the IT band.
If you put your one, like as if you were, I don't know what you would say, sitting with your foot on top of your knee, like in a figure 4 position, but upright, something you could do that also.
Like normal people relax. They
Yeah.
put their ankle up on their knee and they sit back and
Yeah.
relax. I don't do that because it's uncomfortable because my damn hips are so tight.
But in a swim spot, in the warm water, like
Game
this
changer.
is way more comfortable than it would be if I were
100%.
sitting, you know,
And
on
you'll
a
get
chair.
a deeper, more effective stretch in the warm
Yep.
water than you would on dry land.
And basically, I'm just kind of holding on to the bottom of my foot and have my elbow up against my knee so that I can push that down. And it's a really great stretch. I feel it in my hips. I feel it in my hamstrings, my IT band. And it just keeps things nice and flexible.
I don't really talk when I do that stretch because it's much more uncomfortable for me. Kim said, you can also step down with more glute involvement by hinging like you are sitting in a chair and tap your
nice,
heel
yeah.
to the floor. Yeah, absolutely.
That's a good idea.
And then Kim said, I change it up when I do step downs. I love it, Kim.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it because those are the major muscle groups that will propel us into, older age and keep us so strong that you can do anything. And they're so critical. Your major, larger muscles in your body, the stronger you keep them, the better life will be. No question about it. That is not even a debatable point anymore. It's so true. And all of our parents are proof of this. So, and I'm getting to be old enough where I'm sort of proof of that, except for my tight ass hips. All right. Nakia said yes. Okay. 18D. Cancel that out. Anthony just called. He's a friend. He has a Challenger 19. Nakia, I don't remember. I know you have the step in there. I don't know if it's the same depth as this one off the top of my head. But do it.
Yeah.
Even if it's 6 inches instead of like the 10 that this one is, do it. It's amazing. It's the best thing for you. So highly encourage. All right. Susan said, I use a pool noodle to help with balance during step downs.
Oh,
Absolutely.
yeah.
And Susan, I would tell you this, okay? And obviously I'm working from a extremely limited amount of knowledge of you and your physical situation. I would tell you this, if the pool noodle allows you to do it and there's no injury there, I also would encourage you to do some without it and see if you can progress away from it so that you can stabilize on your own. You will get a larger benefit out of there. If you have an injury going on or something preventing that, well then don't listen to stupid Ben. Do what you're doing. So just keep in mind, it's always good to continue to push, and I don't mean recklessly, I don't mean foolishly, to continue to push for new strength levels, and there is no age attachment on there at all. I mean, back to take Mary's mom. She's got spinal stenosis, and this keeps the wheels on and stretching and strengthening, and it's a game changer, absolute game changer. And she absolutely got stronger.
Sure.
And she was not a child. So very cool. Yeah, use the pool noodle if you need to, and just if every once in a while you can play with it without and try to self-stabilize completely. I know you're still doing some stabilization even with a pool noodle because it's not like it's a fixed object. They don't really sit still. So I'm with you on that. Okay? Kenny, interesting point with the hydration. Kenny, you probably, if you had a tear of some kind in a calf, probably fueled by dehydration. Super, super common. Okay, think again, back to the sponge. When the sponge is wet, super awesome, you can't hurt it. When it's dry, you can almost crack it when you bend it. Same. All right, what do we got? Carrie. All right, we're caught up on questions.
Another good stretch to do is hamstring stretch, and again, the swim spa is a great place to do it. You can put your foot up on one of the steps that you feel most comfortable reaching, and then just kind of lean into towards your foot, towards your knee, and you're gonna feel that stretch like down your glute, down your hamstring, and it's, again, this is not something that I feel super comfortable doing. It's a lot more painful without water, but feels really good in the water.
The 100-degree water makes it more comfortable by far.
And I just that leaning forward towards my knee, holding for, a few seconds each leg. Do you have any other good stretches, Ben?
So I would tell you that the most critical body parts to keep flexible are going to be Let's start from the bottom. You want to keep your calves loose and not too tight. I would say that if you were stretching hamstrings, you're probably getting a calf stretch in there by default. So it may be something you want to focus on, or it may not be something that you terribly need to focus on if you're hitting your hamstrings. Now, we're not talking about like athletes that stretch their entire body. That's a different situation. We're talking about general kind of life. So if we're starting at the bottom on stretches that everyone should do, I would say go straight to hamstrings, because if you're stretching your hamstrings, you're definitely getting some calf stretch in there as well. So hamstrings, critical, absolutely critical. Now, men, as they age, tend to get tighter hamstrings than women do, and women tend to get tighter quads than men do. It's sort of interesting to watch that happen. I've actually never read anything about that. That was all from, 25,000 training sessions under my belt, and just
we could do it. We could
a lot
show
of people.
quad
Yeah,
stretch.
yeah,
So
right there. Grab that heel or grab that ankle.
grab your heel. You can hold on to the rail, to the handrail if you need to, and just pull until you feel a good stretch. You don't want to experience pain.
Yeah, don't rip the muscle off the bone.
And again,
Kenny.
hold a good stretch for 15, 20 seconds.
Kenny's got sweat coming on his forehead, ripping his quad off. No, not that hard. All right. So hamstrings, calves. Then we're going to go hips. Hips, your whole center, of your mobility, your whole core all starts with your hips. If your hips are tight, it's going to result in discomfort walking. It's also going to result in low back pain. Okay, I guarantee you that. So I would go hips next, and then
which we did with the figure four stretch.
Which we did with the figure four stretch. Then low back. Now again, the hamstring stretch probably going to do, at least on this plane, your low back and your calves and your hamstrings all in one. If you do it that way, just lean forward until you get some of it in your back. So you can really knock out 3 for 1 by doing a good hamstring stretch. And I would say, try not to build Rome in one day. If they're tight and you're like, oh geez, they're tight, I'm gonna sit here and work on them for 45 minutes until they're loose. You can't actually do that. You may get injured, so I don't suggest doing that. It'd be one thing to do something, on the crazier side like that in a swim spot because you're safer, but don't do that. You could actually stretch so much that your muscles are actually very sore as if you lifted weights, and it's just unnecessary. Just do it for 5 or 10 minutes, each body part per day, until it's loose, and then go to 3 times a week until and you should feel great. Personally, when I spend the time on my hips, which I have been the last 2 weeks, I've done a lot of, my general mobility is much more comfortable. So just absolutely walking around, I feel better. I feel better my first couple of steps out of bed in the morning, and it's noticeable. So I highly encourage the hips. They're underrated or overrated or whatever you want to call it. People don't stretch them like they should. Again, also males will be worse at that than females will. Next, so you got low back. Next is going to be shoulders and neck. Okay, so shoulder mobility is huge, and also I bet you there's not one person on here who hasn't experienced a significant or even a minor shoulder injury. I know a few people over here have. How many times? All of them. Both shoulders, many times, many strains, many injuries, lots of training, lots of years, lots of abuse. So doing these stretches. One
good shoulder stretch is just as simple as that.
Yep.
Pull that arm close to your body.
Yep, that one works great. I like to open things up. So, I'm sore.
Yeah.
So the door, like you always have, doctors tell you to stretch on a door. So you're on the door frame and you're stretching back, and it's getting all that. And you're gonna feel that, and it's fantastic. You don't have to be on a door to do that. You can do that, swimmers stretch like this, and they stretch straight up and then lean back into it. It's the same thing. So just keep them mobile, keep them mobile, however you want to say it, and then neck. So you always see everybody rounding out. Everything is shortening as they're getting older. So you want to stay open. So your stretches need to be the opposite. So you want to stretch this way. You want to squeeze your shoulder blades together. Open that chest up. Open those shoulders up. Get that chin back. Like even that, I feel it in my neck. I can feel it wanting to tighten up. We do a lot of that stuff for mobility for the gym. And sometimes it's uncomfortable. In certain workouts, I'm actually sore in my neck And it's just because it doesn't want to move like it did 30 years ago. Shocker. You know, it's not really a surprise. So neck, you know, down. So I'll do this one. Don't pull on it too hard. I'll do this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, nice and gentle. And you can hold each one, do it for a few minutes. But if you spent 5 minutes on each of those stretches, so let's kind of sum that up. Do hamstrings, which is going to get your low back, your calves, and your hamstrings. That one probably needs 10 minutes because you're doing 3 there, and you can change the focus by bending your knee a little bit on what you're focusing on. We'll get to your back more. And then you want to get to your, you know, your hips. Hips, do 5 minutes, foot up on each side, and then get to shoulders. Figure out the best way to stretch for you, whether it's open, whether it's up, whatever it is. Do, you know, 5 minutes. If you do it separate sides, do 5 minutes each. If you do both sides, do 5 minutes for both. And then next, spend 5 minutes going through all the different ranges of motion and being careful not to really shove on your neck. You don't want to get hurt. You can actually, I'm actually sweating. The water's hot.
Yeah, it's very
hot,
warm.
which is nice. Okay, so if you spent that amount of time and you did that 3 times a week, I guarantee your quality of life and your comfort levels, your kind of standard set comfort levels are going to improve significantly. You agree?
Yeah.
And it's just one of those things. It's hard to do.
It is.
It's hard to do. Okay, let's check for questions. Kim said, actually stretching in the swim spa is ideal as you shouldn't stretch a cold muscle, 100%.
Right, yeah.
So move around in that warm water and stretch, 100%, Kim, 100%. Yeah, you don't want to stretch cold muscles. And if you don't have a choice, you're not pulling on them at all. You're warming up, stretching super gentle. You know, sometimes you don't have a choice. When we're at the gym in the morning, we don't have a choice. You know, so I'm not going into like full pressure stretches. I'm starting slow and building into those as we're warming up. And then we'll get on the bike for a few minutes, the assault bike, and then we'll, you know, do some kip swings off the bar and start loosening up your shoulders and lats. Actually, you know, that reminds me, one more stretch that I'm going to recommend is twisting, your trunk twist. So if you put your knee up in the air, can you see that? Put your knee up in the air, opposite hand, and then.
Ooh.
You hear that?
I heard that.
Yeah. Some people pay extra for that. Good one. You always want to rotate your trunk and get a good stretch. You might even get lucky and get a back pop. If you get a back pop, that's actually good because it means your back is loose. If your muscles are like this,
yeah,
you're barely going to be able to twist. It's going to feel really tight, and you're not going to get a little pop in your back. All right, we're caught up. Good stuff. What you got?
That's it. We didn't have any questions come in before the live today, so.
Yep, very cool.
If anyone has any questions now, you can put them here.
Any questions,
and we'll
anyone?
Also check later if you didn't get to watch this during the live.
It's warm in here.
Yeah.
I'm actually sweating. I'm sweating. But I feel my body feels great. So the hot water you feel great, and it's a great way to end. So you know, we had a strenuous day. It was great to be home, great to be in our home gym, and just kind of kicked butt. And then now I'm like, so, and this makes me want to go to sleep.
Yeah.
It does. It makes me want to go to sleep. Like if I hit this at 9 o'clock at night, game over, sound asleep. So and there's so many people that use hot water, swim spa, hot tub, or otherwise to go to sleep and just relax those muscles. It just puts you in that mode for deep sleep and comfort and healing. And the more relaxed your muscles are, the more that it actually can, you know, heal up overnight while you're sleeping. So you want to bring inflammation down, rest, and it works well. Nakia, I have a question. What you got? What do you have? Okay. Tracy, you two are so knowledgeable and helpful. Oh, stop it. Shucks. You are part of why I ended up with my swim spa. Thank you.
Awesome.
Tracy, awesome. Absolutely. You know what? Thank you for letting us know. We love that. So, Nakia is having some tech issues. I'm not sure I can help.
I was just say
help
tech
you
issues
with
might
that
be a
here.
better.
Trouble doing stretches when the weather is very cold. What's your water temperature at? iPad? Tough to follow you here. What iPad? You mean the top side, the touch screen on the swim spa? I'm assuming that. We're trying to help. We're trying to help you, Nikia. Jan, you're most welcome. You're most welcome. It's doing these lives for the last few years. It's so much fun for us.
Yeah.
And it's just been huge. And to get the feedback, we love to hear it, and it's just been really positive. Let's see. Nikia said, I find when it's very cold out, it's too cold to just. I need the other half of that sentence. Okay. iPad. Oh, iPad issue is why
Oh.
I'm like, what iPad? What does that have to do with your swim spot? Now I got it. Well, you also can write a message in to MasterSpas. Call customers. If you're having any issues at all, call customer service at MasterSpas. I know you have a deal or two, and they're great. Call MasterSpas. They're there all the time. They'll help you with anything, and they're so experienced. I mean, so again, MasterSpas, largest manufacturer in the world of swim spas. Our customer service, second to none. So just call in. They'll help you with anything, and they've seen a thing or two. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Nikia, we're always here every 2 weeks. You know that. Let's see. Brian, can you demonstrate some slow swimming like stretches, almost like Tai Chi movements? We cannot. We have the cover over here is actually closed, and we're not set up to do that.
We've got many videos
Tons, right.
on the YouTube channel of swimming.
Although I've never swam slow, like as in a stretch. I'm a sinker swimmer. I swim more like a blender. I realized that Mary and I used to race Ironman, and that should automatically make us amazing swimmers. I'm a weightlifter who started doing Ironman later on and don't have a swimmer's body.
I
So
would say the
it's
best
tough for
way
me.
to do that is to use a pull buoy.
I was going to say pull buoy.
Yeah, use a pull
and then
buoy.
just swim slow and not worry about on the catch and pulling down so hard, and just relax a little bit and stretch. But I mean, for dedicated stretching, I'd rather see you stretch. To be honest with you. All right. My mother, Tai Chi this morning, spa this afternoon. It's a great combination. I know she's feeling good. Nikia, I have to do aerobic something to get body temp up. Turn your water temperature up a little bit. And then I'm not stretching enough. Nobody stretches enough.
Yeah, me neither.
All right. Very good. Okay.
And I will just, to Nikia's point, my heart rate does not like to raise.
It's actually fascinating
when it's cold.
Yeah.
And I've been like trying a couple things. I found that if I did a little bit of cardio before started, like this week I've been just kind of like riding the bike before I work out to warm my body up, because if I don't, it will take an entire hour before my body like even warms up, and my heart rate is like, it won't rise. Which is super frustrating.
We use these watches, and her watch, when it's really cold and she's exercising actively, looks like she's sitting still.
Right.
It's the damnedest thing you ever saw.
Yeah.
I mean, she's like a snake when it gets cold.
Yeah. So, I was just gonna say, if you definitely, because I'm feeling like if I were to, I'm like right now, I can tell you my heart rate is high. 97. And I'm just standing here, which is pretty high for me.
This is warm. I mean, I'm actually actively sweating.
So if I were to like maybe at 95 in here, if I were to kind of just walk in place or kind of get my knees up, kick butt kicks, my heart rate will rise in this warm water, and it will make everything better, stretching better after all of that. So just kind of get moving in that when you first get in, but turn that temperature up.
One thing is for certain, human bodies prefer to be warm.
Oh, yeah.
That's just the way it is. At least mine certainly does. Tracy said, you two have much more consistent information than customer service in my experience. Thank you. I'll take it. Yep. They can, whatever. But we do actually do this. This is like, we actually use this. So I think that when it comes to content that's out there and people who are using it, every manufacturer has tried to sort of do what we do. We've seen like, you can always see like a Ben and Mary inspired copy of, and it's funny because we're like, they found a dude and a girl and they're like trying, and it fizzles very quickly
Yeah.
because they don't realize how much work it is. And you do, if you want to be, you know, successful at it, you actually need to know what the hell you're talking about in the first place. It can't be made up because people are going to see through that crap like that. So, you know, we're trying to be authentic, but we actually do this stuff. You know, I actually have one of these at my home. We've, you know, been here for a long time, exercising, training, working, you know, all this stuff.
And we've been doing this a long time and have gotten a lot of these questions, you know, over and over. So we have, you know, tried to find the best answers,
right,
you know, from our engineers and customer service reps and even other service people in the field. So we, you know, we have a lot of good resources as well.
And actually, I'll go one further, Trace. What's interesting is that when we have a question or something that's sort of a tough one, customer service is where we start because they have records of every problem that's ever happened in the last 20 years. So their data is incredible.
Yeah.
Anything you've ever heard of happening, it happened, and they may not know it because it only happened once, but they've got a record of it somewhere. And if there's any kind of a trend emerging, this is how we track that stuff. If there's any kind of trends emerging in a problem, you know, that's how they're on top of it so quickly. And some things are easy to control and some things are not easy to control. You know, we've had some interesting things happen over the years where if it wasn't for them, we would have never figured it out. So it's just an amazing data collection situation. You know, and obviously customer service is a thankless job. And a lot of times, you know, you're dealing with newer people because they have some turnover rate. Although your main people there have been there forever.
Yeah.
You do have some turnover in customer service. It tends to be thankless. So, all right. So Jan said, "I always learn something from you." Jan, I love it. I appreciate it. We're so happy to be here, and we love, you know, like last time. This is a basal cell that's still healing up, and you know, someone's, "Ben, I'm concerned about your forehead. What's going on with that?" and I'm like, "This is I'm emotional now that I'm getting older. I'm not so hard anymore." And I'm like, "He cares," you know. So it's really, this is family. It's good stuff. All right. So we love you guys. We'll see you in 2
weeks.
Where are we going to be?
February. It's weird. We are going to be here home in 2 weeks. I just don't know what the date is. It's March something. The first week in March.
2 weeks from today. See you then. 4 o'clock. You guys know when it is. They know better than we do. All right. Be good. Later, guys.
Good night, everyone.